The UN Perm 5 negotiation about Cambodia, despite everyone's pessimism, produced an agreement. That China, Russia, France, the US, Britain, Japan, India, Australia, Vietnam, the various parties in Cambodia all supported. We somehow had taken all of these factors and pulled them together in an American diplomatic effort and success story. The fear of Vietnam and China that there could be something that would cause communism to unravel in their countries, as it had in the Soviet Union. The desire of Cambodian parties to try some new approach. Could we get rid of the Khmer Rouge or not? All of this came to a head in Paris, the signing ceremony. I remember being there with Secretary of State Jim Baker. It was a really proud moment. Few people had believed that we could ever get there. Great achievement for Assistant Secretary Richard Solomon. I was so thrilled to have been part of this effort with him, when he called me while I was in Manila and said, "You've got to come back and work with me on this." And with the agreement signed, there would be now the election campaign, putting in place all the mechanisms for a free election run by the UN, with a Japanese individual appointed by the Secretary General of the United Nations to be the overseer, the man who was running the whole process in Cambodia. And then, as we're doing that, there becomes manipulations and movements. King Sihanouk wants to maneuver things, have the election delayed, have himself appointed head of state so he could once again manipulate everything and take power for himself, what his goal had been in all of this. And I remember on a Saturday morning, I come into my office in the State Department, and we have a message from Cambodia. Prince Ranariddh, Sihanouk's son, is about to withdraw from the election, allow it to be delayed. What can we do? So we urgently get him on the phone, and I'm talking to him, and I'm explaining to him that if he does this, after all that we've done, all we've supported him in this, all that we've gotten to the point where he's about to run for election and perhaps win the election. And if he steps back now and breaks apart that process, it will never be forgiven. And I talk him out of that drastic step, that step his father had been pushing him to do. And the process is saved. And the French then approach us saying, can't we just allow Sihanouk to be appointed king a week ahead of everything else? Not wait for an election to take place. Is in deference to his role and that he'll be the king of the country. And if only the Americans will agree, everybody else has agreed to this. But I suspected this was another ploy. Sihanouk was going to use it then to stop the election and sort of seize executive power on his own. And so here I am on the phone with the French leader of the French delegation, and I say, absolutely not. We will not. The United States does not agree to this change. And so the election goes forward on course, on track. And the results are that Prince Roneret's party, called Funsenpec, it's an acronym for a French name, wins the most votes. They're going to be the leading element in the new government. The Cambodian People's Party, the Communist Party of Hun Sen, who had been running the country, finished second a ways back behind Funsenpec, but still with a significant number of votes. And they'll have to work together to form a government. So we have this amazing outcome that no one, even 3 years earlier, ever imagined would be possible. And a new government, a democratically elected government, is going to be formed. And the Khmer Rouge had jumped out of the process, and they were once again isolated. And Cambodia, the poor Cambodian people, were going to have a freely elected democratic government. It seemed like it was a diplomatic miracle, but it was a dream come true, even if it just would be temporarily true.